Hello and welcome to AntipoDnD, a show in which a bunch of Australians play Dungeons and Dragons in a setting partly inspired by prehistoric Australia and New Zealand. And I say partly because there's some other weird stuff here. I am David, I'm the Dungeon Master. I am joined as ever by Kynwyn, Doug, April and Zindy, also Zinthings if you're on Twitter or so forth. And there's nothing to announce tonight, so we're going to get straight into the game. Last week, our heroes actually got some much needed downtime, a chance to rest after some fairly traumatic events in the city of Providence on the far side of the world in the Wandering Isles. They renovated their rooms, they got some rest, they bought some stuff, they made some stuff, while the city rebuilt after a series of unfortunate events. One of those events involved a god creating a massive being of immense power that strode through the city, created a massive crater as a result. Now, about a month after that, the city came to the point where they were no longer able to stop the citizens from exploring a pit that had opened up beneath the crater. And two had gone in and had disappeared. And a priest of Desmina, had gone in to follow them and then also disappeared. And then, quite curiously, one of the citizens returned but had no memory of even entering the pit and could not even acknowledge that it had existed. And so our heroes were asked by Izud, the head of security at the Coruscant Academy and the magical advisor to the Council of Providence, to go into the pit to find out what happened to these individuals and determine whether there was any threat present to the city of Providence. Our heroes did so. They climbed down into this dark area and they found what looks to be an ancient, probably pre-cataclysm, little chunk of the Underdark, where the Dark Elves or the Drow once lived. But the sign, they saw like a milestone pointing towards an ancient Drow city, but that passage appears to have been blocked off, either as a result of what the translocation, or perhaps there's been a rockfall in the meantime. They encountered a horrible little ooze called a black pudding.
Little.
Well, okay, it was large. Actually, I think it was huge, technically speaking.
It was much bigger than Morzod, and that's a problem.
Yep. And it attacked them, and they attacked it. And our poor Morzod, the cleric, struck it with his war skillet, and the war skillet took damage from the acid that eats away at metal, and he also took some damage to his chain armor, which has reduced its effectiveness. And so,
also to his pecs.
And to his pecs.
They also became injured, which is the most important thing here.
He lost some hit points, but, you know, who cares about that? So,
right.
While Morzod, after they defeated the creature, and while Morzod, basically swore in Orcish at the damage done to his, especially his precious skillet.
Beloved skillet.
I believe it was Dagmar who went to explore another passage leading off into the dark, at the end of which she found a stream of water, with a question mark. Water that glows with a bright white light, but on closer inspection it has an almost opalescent quality. It's like every spectrum of the rainbow is glittering as this water moves. And that is where we resume our story. So let's start with Morzod first. What is Morzod going to do next?
Look, he's calming down a little bit because he has been swearing for a good, 5 or 10 minutes. But like he's basically just going to sulk and look to the others for what they're planning on doing, because the only thing he's planning on doing is not going near one of those things again.
Okay. Orsi and Vitericus, you don't see Dagmar.
Did we tell her to go down the hallway? I think we did because Orsi said he didn't want to send Glow.
I think.
Yeah, and you did a sneak.
And she
check
tripped
that-
over.
Yeah, face planted on a rock.
She basically face planted into the edge of the pretty glowing.
Yeah, I don't think
river.
you touched it. Yeah.
No, kind of staring down at it.
I guess we're just waiting to see what Dagmar does. I don't know. I'm not going down that until she screams.
I think I heard her trip, but I haven't heard
Oh,
anything since, so I assume
Well,
it's
if
fine.
we heard her, then if anything else is down here, I'm sure it heard us too.
The two of you can give me a perception check, please.
Sure. Can Glow do one?
Yeah, sure.
Passageway, am I down? Is it like this?
Perception. Okay. And for Glow.
Do you go up here?
Yeah.
I think it's the one that
Oh,
I'm sitting...
17 for Glow.
Yeah.
13 for me.
Ericus is up here.
The Vitericus, I believe, has moved back at this point because there was loot
Okay.
to inspect.
There was one to inspect, indeed.
Sorry, what were those rolls?
13.
And 17 for Glow.
Cool. Okay. Neither of you, if you sort of glance down the passage that Dagmar went down, neither of you can see or hear her. But you do just hear that gentle lapping of water, like there's running water down there.
Can Dagmar swim?
Probably not. I don't think she can.
Yeah, did we establish that early when we got shipwrecked? I think we may have.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she can't swim.
Hmm.
Should we go down?
I mean, it's probably like a knee-high river, right? It should
She
be
hasn't-
fine.
So she's going to drown.
Yes.
Good call, good call.
Yes,
All
a
right.
good point. Yeah.
She's
we
not
should- yes.
that short.
Pretty short.
It's funny though.
Mm. It is. Yeah.
But,
Depends
Yeah,
on the
funny.
knee.
Orsi will send Glow down to find Dagmar.
Do we have any lights current? I mean, I've got dark vision, but Vidi, do you still have
Uh,
your
I had the drift globe up.
Oh, you
so
had the
I
drift
assume I'm
globe.
just-
Yeah,
Running
with
back
a
now.
sheet over it, I think you said.
Mhm.
So Glow's just going to go find Dagmar.
Okay, Dagmar, Glow flies in and lands on your shoulder.
Am I okay, or am I able to do stuff?
Only seconds have passed.
Okay. But I'm not like enthralled by the water or anything.
No, you can do whatever you want.
Oh, cool. I will look up to Glow and I'll say hi.
And Glow flaps as if to say, I don't know how to say hello to you.
Aww.
All right, she's down there. She's fine.
All right, well, shall we?
Come on, Mozart. Or if you're coming.
Oh yeah, Mozart's definitely coming. He shoulders his
Sorry.
skillet and along he goes.
Sorry about your frying pan.
It's all right. It's all right. It'll just take a little bit of care when we get back home.
All right.
Does mending work on that, Orsi?
I'm no.
I feel like
I don't
it
think
wouldn't.
I could probably take a niche, like a little notch or two out of it, but I don't think I can fix whatever that was.
Fair.
I never thought anything like it. Have you seen him? Do you know what it was?
I don't know. Does Elsie know about oozes? Sure, he's read about them.
Give me a nature or arcana check.
Arcana for me, thank you.
Does anyone sing
I
songs of oozes?
rolled a 3, 10.
I probably do.
I got a 10.
Okay. You've heard of oozes, but that's about it. You probably know that there are different types of oozes, and this is one that you've not heard of. But
I mean, I've read about them, but I'm right. I don't know. I've never seen that thing before.
Like something you scrape out of the bottom of the pen. Just
I didn't
guess
have a lot
kinda
of
fitting.
field experience before I met you lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, we're all learning then, eh?
Exactly.
and mending can repair a single break or tear in an object. So
Yeah.
very limited in terms of what it can accomplish.
If you get a thread out of your shirt, I could fix it.
It's
All right, well-
it's a cantrip.
Let's go join Dagmar.
Yes. Shall
Okay. So the three of you wander down that tunnel and suddenly find yourself standing right behind Dagmar. And it's slightly disconcerting because you didn't see her and then walk up to her. You just found yourself standing next to Dagmar, next to this brightly glowing stream in a tunnel.
Which is also like whispering, isn't it?
Yeah, in the gentle lapping of the water, you can all now just faintly hear what sounds like voices, whispers, the occasional scream, the occasional bit of laughter, joy, fear. It looks mostly like water. It seems to be behaving like water, but there's something magical about it.
Ah, Dagmar, where'd you come
Hi. Here?
from? Huh. If I take a step backwards, do I hit a wall, or...?
You do. You take a step backwards, and there is now just solid wall, rock wall behind you, just roughly cut tunnel. Or you, as the four of you look around, you can now see that you are in this passage, which is perpendicular to the tunnel that you just came down. There is no way back the way you came. This glowing river is flowing down to your right, and to the left it seems to rise up like it's coming down a slope, and the rock up there comes down quite low, so it's almost like it's a funnel that's pouring out, and the only way to go is to your right.
Oh, hey, it's a loading check. They've deloaded the last area. That's out of memory.
Dagmar, you didn't touch that. You didn't touch that, did you?
Oh, hell no.
Good, good, good.
I just sat here and thought I would wait for you lot to just follow me in.
Did we walk here? Or did we just get here?
I stacked it in the hallway and then I was...
I know, we know that. We know that.
And
but there...
Dagmar, as far as you're concerned, you stepped in, you had a close look at the river, then glow appeared, and then immediately everyone else appeared behind you. There was almost no passage of time.
So, like, you didn't wait for me then?
Well, we thought something might have happened to you.
I just got here.
We just got here.
I know you just got here.
No, but, like, you got here a little while ago.
Yeah, like 4 seconds before you did.
Nah, a little bit longer than that. We've looked at loot. Morzod's finished cussing.
There was loot?
There was cussing?
There was teeth. You picked it out.
Did I?
Yeah, you got the gold filling.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, gross. Cool.
You gotta grab the teeth. That's important.
Let's write that down. Thank you for reminding me.
What? I mean...
Look, at least you've stumbled into some more magic bullshit, I'm going to say.
Yeah, look,
I'm trying to remember the last time Drink was talking to me, and that was an heck of a night, and I don't recommend it.
Is there a pebble on the ground? Can I find a rock, DM? Is there a rock in the rocky cave?
There is a rock.
Yeah. Just stand back a little. Horsey's just gonna wait for everyone to take a
stand back, because if Vinny...
Oh, I guess there's a wall there,
there's kind of not much space at all.
Yeah, you're not standing in the water.
How many Morzots wide is the space we've got?
This space altogether, the tunnel itself is about 10 feet wide, and the stream running through it is about 5 feet wide. So you've got enough space to walk on either side, but it's a bit tight.
Horsey's gonna just chuck a little pebble in and see how it reacts.
Cool.
Does it react, or is it water?
It just goes sploosh exactly like you would expect water to.
Is it then a gecko or anything?
Are screaming? Yeah.
No, there's no change in the sounds. You can give me a perception check if you want to,
sure.
Focus very carefully on it.
Oh, that was good. 20, not that. Flaccid.
20. Yeah, there's no change in the sound coming from the river, but as you focus, concentrate, and listen, and now that everyone around you has stopped talking for a moment, you become aware of just how utterly silent this place is, except for the river. When you step into a cathedral, that kind of transition that comes when you cross the threshold into this place of reverence. It's as though you've entered a space like that. It's hard to describe, but you're...
Yeah, echoing silence.
Yeah, you don't immediately get the impression of danger, but you do feel like you're somewhere else.
Huh. It's very quiet. Hey, Alvaterica, are there any, like, shades or anything down here?
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to check. Can I whistle at the river?
First of all, Vatericus, you see no shades at all, but you can whistle.
Perfect. I will try and get a rise out of the river by whistling at it.
Okay, give me a performance check, please.
Certainly. 25.
25.
Non-nat.
It is, without a nat, wow. It is a very impressive performance. What's he whistling, for curiosity's sake?
It's a wolf
I
whistle,
think-
isn't it? He's trying to rouse it.
I think with given that I know we're sort of under dark E, I'm going to whistle something drow.
Okay.
Um,
Which I imagine might be
Welcome to the
something
jungle.
a bit more mournful in a way, more like a dirge, I guess. Yeah. And nothing happens. Nothing changes.
How much do the rest of us know about Viddy's whistling adventures?
Oh, yeah, we
Great
don't.
deal.
'cause
I
he
think he
sneaks
usually
out.
sneaks out
That's
at
a good
night.
question.
Yeah.
yeah, basically nothing.
So we're just watching you whistle at a river for fun.
I mean, it's as good as anything else, right? Just
Hashtag
don't-
just viddy things.
Just no one touch it. Yet.
So the path runs alongside it?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a path on either side, so it's a relatively flat surface, but it dips a bit towards the center, and that is where the water is running down. And it does sort of meander a bit as it goes down.
Shall we... I mean, it doesn't really look like there's anywhere else to go. Shall we walk?
Well, I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, I
the
guess.
other choice is just to stand here, and I don't think that's going to get us what we want.
All right.
No shades,
gotta
you
walk.
said, David.
No shades at all.
Oh, Vatericus, do you see anything? Is there any ghosts down here?
No, and I'm not sure how I feel about that yet.
They're usually around, right?
They are. I'm going to try and summon a mage hand.
Okay. How would Vatericus normally go through that process?
So now that he's got the whistling sort of to a point, it would have been like a sharp, like, come here whistle. And normally a not
Proper
quite an
farm
unseen
boy?
servant. Yeah, basically, like exactly like that. Would have appeared, and a hand would appear to assist.
Cool. So you go through that motion, and for a second it looks like it hasn't worked, like nothing's happened. But then your mage hand appears, but whereas your mage hands normally have very distinct appearances to them, this is the most plain, generic mannequin hand that you've seen. It's not what you expected, and it's probably not what you would have asked for, you know, if you could define it. It's just there. It'll work, but
A lot less creepy
Vatericus.
than your normal hand.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Where's
What's
the
up-
style, the flair? It's
Where's
just-
the drowned child hand or whatever it is you do?
right?
Hairy, slimy knuckles.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that thing looks like a mannequin.
I still think
Yeah.
about that thing. Gosh, yeah.
Oh, it touched me.
I'm not sure how I feel about this. There are no shades here, but I can still do something. And I'm going to direct the mage hand to sort of run its fingers through the water.
it goes down and the water parts quite naturally around the fingers, exactly as you'd expect.
Huh.
And do you think it's just your weird ghost magic, or do you think it's magic that's weird down here?
Well, I can't see shades, and I don't think your magic is shade-based, unless you're not telling me something.
No, that's what I'm saying. Do you think it's all
Hmm.
magic that's weird near the river, or do you think it's just your ghost?
I don't
But
know.
I was casting
Uh,
magic before just fine, so.
Yeah, but so was I.
Oh, you were.
Mind whip me or whatever. See what happens.
Excuse me?
Dagmar's gonna shuffle back slightly.
I'm not going to hurt you.
You've got one of those low-level ones ready to go, right? Just chuck it at me. See what
Are
happens.
you sure? Are you sure?
No, let's do it.
While they're discussing it, can Mozart just sort of cantrip himself a little heelsies to see if that works?
Sure. Do you have any cantrip heals?
I've got, let me see, just a cure wounds, because I'm kind of less than half my health at the moment. I don't like that.
Cool.
So can I roll for cure wounds or?
Yes. So you go ahead and cast the spell, and there is, like Viterica's experience, there is a moment where you don't think it's worked. You don't feel the power channeling through you. You don't feel that connection of Bruin Lach. But then the spell happens and it heals you. But you almost feel like you didn't do that.
Oh, I got an 11, so I'm just going to put that one in there.
Yep.
Without any idea of what Morzord's doing, Orsi's just going to put his hand out and just be like, shake my hand.
This will be great. I will shake Ozzy's hand.
Okay.
It's going to be like one of those zapping gum sticks things.
Does a 17 hit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I rolled 2 1s. You're so lucky. 2 lightning damage as he shocking grasps you.
Yep.
Oh, no, is that 2 1s?
Oh, was that 2 7s? Oh, it was 1 and a 7.
7.
1 and a 7. 8
that's-
points of
that's-
lightning damage.
That's all right.
Sorry, you asked for it.
So
So
Viterica-
people
Roger
in a
Rabbit, you
hole
gotta-
and smacking each
One of
other.
those buzzers in your hand.
Yeah.
So, Orsi, you do that. And again, like Morzod, you don't feel the power coming through you like you'd expect, but you see the lightning come out. Vitericus, you feel the electricity, but it's no more than like a gentle static shock. And you don't take any damage from it.
You need to check the batteries on that one, my friend.
What's a battery?
Yes, good
It's when
point.
you punch someone.
It's like
Oh,
a water
right.
wheel.
Assault. Right, assault and battery. Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that was less impressive than I've been led to believe your lightning magic is.
All right, that
Now
hurts my feelings, but fair
that
enough.
feels really weird.
I mean,
So I
you flash right at Diprotodon, right? That's
I mean,
it is. It happens.
I definitely cast a spell. It's usually pretty
But
bitey, even though it's a little
feels
one.
really like
Dagmar's just
half-hearted, you
gonna
know?
hold her
feels like-
daggers close.
Yeah, I don't know, right? My magical connection comes from me manipulating the veils between the planes, right? It feels weird down here. Like the source of the magic isn't here. I feel
Kinda,
disconnected.
that's a good word for it.
Disconnected?
Yeah.
yeah.
Dagmar, you
Well,
feel
It's
fine.
sort of it's just sort of over there and yeah.
Well,
I don't
how's
like that.
Glow doing? How's Glow doing? Is she okay? I mean, she's magic.
Glow is still Glow, as far as you can tell. She is looking about and watching the lot of you, and sort of, you get the impression from her that she is also a bit confused more than anything else.
Huh. I might just have you go home for a little while, you know. Orsi's gonna just poof her to the
Mhm.
Feywilds.
Okay.
Shall we press on? Have you got your light? Shall we walk?
All right.
Yeah. Is the drift globe working normally?
Oh.
Yes, it is. Or it appears to be,
Magic
anyway.
or science?
Right.
Yeah,
We can
that's a
only
bit of both,
walk
right?
single file down
Pretty
here,
much,
right? Like
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Right.
I'll go first.
Yep.
Yes, please.
I'll take up the
Um,
rear.
Morzy, not Morzy, Orsi. That's the ship name. And then the Terric is in the middle.
Cool. Are you walking normally, or are you stealthing?
I think we could try and stealth, but
Do we want to be quiet? Should we be quiet?
Well, I mean, we're sort of. I feel like we'd be walking sort of with a little bit of tiptoe because of the
Yeah.
reverent
group-
cathedral thing going on.
Group
Just
stealth check.
kinda like
It's weird. It's weird.
A
in
little
here.
bit creeped out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's weird in here,
So-
and you all seem to be malfunctioning.
Yeah, we've all frozen.
Stealth from everybody, please. This will be a
Right.
group check.
Yeah. Okay.
That is a 7 from Vitericus.
Okay.
No, 18 for
Uh,
Orsi.
So what
10
stealth
for
did you say?
Dags.
Yep, stealth.
Stealth.
And
Cool.
Glow's not here.
Yeah, that's a 4.
Does
Okay.
anybody have access to like pass without a trace or anything?
No,
God damn it.
no, Mozlot's just stomping.
The good news is that Dagmar, did not roll the lowest. In fact, Dagmar got a nice average 10.
I rolled higher stealth than all of you. Come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Look, I'm
Yeah,
a
that's because
half
you're not
orc.
wearing armor. It's all soft padding and.
Dagmar's a
Thinking,
rogue.
But Orsi
on, man.
and Dagmar, as you're walking stealthily, you can just hear,
Mozlot stomping along.
Clank, clank,
Vitericus
clank.
and Morzod, you can hear their feet just as they're scuffing along the rock
Terracus, I
on the
can
ground.
hear
God,
your
lift your
gong
feet, you bloody
Look.
teenagers.
going off.
This is the loneliest I have been in decades. There are no shades here. There's nothing.
Okay, well, where's
That's
Hey,
right.
what? Yeah.
That must feel bloody weird if there's lots of them all the time. You okay,
Yeah.
Vinny?
I'll be better once we're out of here.
Do you want me to hold your hand, Vinny?
Not yet, but
Right.
I will keep it in mind.
Right.
As you
we,
walk,
we
you-
press on. Yeah.
you start to find the occasional path that branches off away from the river. The river itself continues, the path follows it, but there's a tunnel leading off to the right and another a bit further down leading off to the left.
Can
Is
I
this on our map?
keep
we-
an eye out for like any signs of people having been through here before us?
Sure, this is a survival check to look for tracks.
Where are all you guys and where am I?
But also like just we're tracking people, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
In
there you are.
theory. Oh, that was a 20. A natural 20, which leads to a 25.
25,
Nice.
cool. With
Very
that,
sexy.
Dagmar stops, gets down, does the whole, looking
Aragon.
through the dust. Yeah, very carefully inspecting every single point of detail. And
There's
as far-
slime on the floor. Do not rub it between your fingers.
Dagmar, there is zero evidence here of anyone having walked this way ever before you.
Okay, well this is weird.
What?
Uh,
What are you What are you doing?
Okay, first, Dagmar is on. Dagmar looks very much like one of those sniffer dogs right now.
Oh, what is she doing?
She's basically
tracking, I think.
pouring through the dust and tracking. And yeah, as far as I can tell, we might be the first people who've ever been here.
Now, are there any
What?
architectural elements around? Do we see any evidence of milestones? Nothing.
None whatsoever.
Okay. Well, which way are we going?
What are our options here?
That
it
way
just
or that
forward?
way?
There's a tunnel
Yeah.
to the right, there's a tunnel a bit further down to the left, or you could keep following the river.
Can we see far down the tunnel? Like, what's the range? Have we got a map?
Well, the tunnel,
mean-
I don't have a map prepared for this at the moment. The tunnel to your right just looks dark as it leads away from the glow of the river.
Wait,
I
is
mean-
the river on our left or our right?
Oh, it depends on what side of it you're walking on, really. You could
Well,
walk
yeah,
on either
but-
side.
It would have appeared on the. we'd be
It's wide
walking
enough that we couldn't cross
down
it though without.
It'd be on
touching it.
our left,
left,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can either keep following the river or check out those tunnels. I mean, rivers generally mean civilization. This is a weird river. I don't know anything about weird rivers.
Yeah, if this was not singing, I would say if we follow it, we
Yes.
will find the exit of the cave, but it's currently singing, so I don't
And a rainbow.
know what
Has Ozzy ever
geographic
read
rules.
anything in his nerd history books about a singing river?
Okay.
Also, sometimes it cries.
Oh, does it? I haven't been
Are
listening.
you not hearing the crying? Okay.
Some bits of it are
trying to-
really not happy.
Trying
I
to push it down.
Also, I will need a history or arcana check, please.
They're both +7, so
Cool.
Yeah, boy.
20. Not that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Orsi's gonna have a snack while he thinks about things.
So with that, Orsi, a memory strikes you. While you and Vitericus were researching the Nightingale, you dived into the fairy tale and folktale section of the library.
We did.
Um, because this, that went well beyond what was, proven and accepted into stuff that was really just the realm of mythology. And you have a vague memory of a mention somewhere, something about the River of Dreams. And it's an expression that occasionally appears in epic folk tales or stories of mythology. It's a place where sometimes great heroes or villains or even gods themselves would come, and there could be a moment of reflection or something like that. But that's all that you can recall, and you remember looking at those and not putting much stock into them at the time.
Just a fairy story.
Yeah.
Vitericus, do you remember when me and you were in the library and we were researching the Nightingale?
Yes.
And we were reading those fairy stories.
Yes.
Do you remember reading something about something called the River of Dreams?
DM, do I remember anything about the River of Dreams?
You can give me a history or arcana check, please.
Both
With
plus one,
advantage,
let's go.
because he probably was reading it.
That is a 4. I was distracted by the pictures.
No.
Pretty.
They weren't about you, so you were not that interested at the time.
Correct.
Do you remember when we were reading?
I'm
You
going to be
weren't
honest.
You weren't paying attention at all, were you?
Paying attention
No.
while you're reading is the whole reason I didn't join the Bard's College in the Coruscant Academy.
Well, I see why you're not a wizard. Anyway, look, while we were looking at the folktale section, I was looking for Nightingale stuff, right? But I read something about something called the River of Dreams, a place where heroes and gods and evildoers alike would go to reflect. Maybe this is it. Maybe it's not a... Look, I thought the Nightingale was a fairy tale, but here you are, standing before me.
Well then, if gods reflect here, let's reflect. And I'm going to stare deeply into the river.
Okay. As you stare into the abyss stares back. No.
Was he's going to eat a banana while this happens?
As Vitericus stares into the river, you see just the water.
Tiny water, though.
Is his reflection in the water? Does Ozzy say?
I'm trying to think. It would probably actually be quite difficult to see because the water is glowing.
Okay, right.
Well, do you want me to jump in?
I don't.
No, thank you.
If we had some other small creature we could throw in, I would. But we don't.
Videricus slowly lowers the hood on the cloak of the manta ray, slightly disappointed.
No. No, we're not going in.
Dagmar stiffened at the smaller creature comment.
I didn't mean you, Dagmar.
How long have we been together?
I did mean... I did mean Barry. But it's fine. Right, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to check out these tunnels, or are we just going to keep following this River of Dreams until we find a City of Dreams?
Well, rivers always go somewhere, and this one hasn't, it's not backing up, so it's going somewhere.
We did come down here specifically to find the Silverfin and the other guy, the dad.
Yes, and he definitely didn't come this way.
How do we know that? We thought we came in, and then we were just here, and you were here.
Can I look behind us and see if there are any signs of us having been here?
Give me another survival check, please. With advantage, because you've familiarized yourself.
What was that, Mozart? You were saying something?
17. There's no evidence of you having walked down this way. It's not so much that there's no disturbance in the dust, it's there's no dust to begin with. There's nothing to disturb whatsoever.
Yeah.
So we're not leaving a trace either. So
no, you're not.
Yeah, look, anyone could have been here.
Mozart, you usually have snacks, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
We should leave a trail.
You hungry?
Absolutely. No, I just had a banana.
I've got some shiny rocks. I've got my little bag of shiny rocks.
Oh,
are they shiny rocks or are they gemstones? Can we not leave a trail of diamonds? I don't want to do that.
Oh no, they were super cheap.
Sure.
Oh,
I
so
mean,
you bought all them, yeah, the ones with the pretty colours and what? Well, that'd be
I
easy
can
to
get more.
spot.
It was like a
Hmm?
pick and mix lucky dip. It's fine.
yeah, I mean, if you want to just chuck a trail down every now and then.
Cool, yeah, I'm gonna drop like a little low grade crystal.
Little bits of
behind
rose
us.
quartz.
Basically, yeah, like those bowls that you see in the kiosks and the in
Cool.
the
Yeah.
shops.
So you're
Yeah.
dropping them like every few meters, or every
Yeah, like-
intersection.
Kind of, yeah, every intersection because
Okay.
like I can see very far. So
Right, now, we did come down here for a reason. We're trying to find these guys. We need to explore every avenue, right? Who knows where they could have gone down?
okay, well, let's try one of these tunnels, and then if it looks like it's leading to certain death, we can leg it back to the glowing river. It seems
Right.
easier to get back to the glowing river than it might be to get away from.
Or she's going to snap his fingers and Glow's going to come back from a little day trip to the Feywild.
Okay.
She does have dark vision, 120 feet. She's an owl. Can she see down the left tunnel? Sure.
As Glow snaps back, Glow
Mm.
looks at you and then looks back and looks at you, and again seems confused, as though
What's wrong?
what you did, and she keeps looking back at where you came from and looking at you and looking down and looking at you and looking back, as though nothing happened in between.
Oh. What, Glow? What's up? She's real.
If she's magic and the magic's all vague, is she seeing Ozzy as like a cardboard cutout?
Who knows?
If I could take your brain and put it into Glow's, I could. I would. But
Mhm.
I'm
Best
not
I can do is see through her eyes.
Yeah.
And it's also looking, not her. So, all right. My owl's acting on really weird.
Cool.
This is all really weird. This is really, really weird, and not in a fancy clothes kind of way either.
Yeah, Glow, do you want to just take a look down that tunnel? She's not going to go all the way, just 100 and see what she can see with 120 feet.
cool. She's got 120 feet of dark vision, doesn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she does.
And you're looking through her eyes?
Mhm.
Yep. She flies a short distance down. You see her turn around a bend, and then the tunnel continues and then just stops, as if there's a wall of darkness there that she cannot see through.
And poop her back to me, which I'm
And-
sure is a horrible experience.
And she comes back and seems very glad to be back. And immediately comes up and sort of nestles down into your collar.
It's all right, I won't make you do it again. I have a theory.
Yeah.
Go on.
So Glow could only see so far before she came across like a magical wall of darkness or something.
Good.
Does this place only exist where we are? This is like some sort of weird pocket dimension that only exists if you perceive it. It's like if you don't see it, it's not there anymore.
I don't
Is it?
have words to respond to that with.
Are all of you still with me?
No.
Is it like that house that you made while we was headed back to Providence?
Yes, it's like the dome. So the dome only existed while I was inside the dome. I made it.
Right.
Once I stepped outside of the dome, it ceased to exist.
How do
But,
we
like-
step outside of this? Not
Well, think
dome?
about it. Dagmar, when you went down the tunnel, we watched you go down the tunnel. We were still back here. We still could see you. But once we had caught up with you, the way we'd come had disappeared because we weren't there anymore.
Is that like when you put a like a towel up in front of a grot and it gets all upset because it thinks you're gone somewhere?
I don't know what those words you just said to me mean, but yes, maybe.
And you play peekaboo with a baby, and the baby's like, "Oh my god, the person is gone." Have you met
I-
a baby?
It's like one. Yeah, well, I've met Vaterica. It's very similar object permanence. I don't think he has it. Sorry.
Out of
You get
character
real
laughing,
mean
Morzod is
when you're
completely
stressed.
blank.
I get a little
So how
snappy
do
when
we-
I'm stressed. I do apologize.
How do we get out of this?
I don't think it's a matter of getting out of it. I think it exists because we're perceiving it.
How do we
If
stop
Ozzy
perceiving
tries-
it?
How do we stop perceiving? I wish I had the answer to that question. If
I
Ozzy
know what the
tries
answer
really
to it, but I don't have
hard,
enough bottles.
if Ozzy tries really hard to like imagine an apple, what happens? Like, will an apple into existence?
Give me a, what is this? Intelligence or wisdom? Concentration. Concentration
Concentration?
is
Make a-
wisdom, isn't it? So let's make it wisdom.
A wisdom check.
Oh, actually, concentration's constitution. I don't know. Whatever you would roll for a concentration check, roll that.
No, that's Constitution saving throw. That's not what I want. Constitution check. Okay. Well, it was nearly a 19, but I rolled 1, so...
Nothing happens.
I don't have enough imagination. I'm too smart. Morzor.
What?
Ooh.
Imagine... What do you like?
Beer.
Beer! Imagine a stein. Imagine a stein for me.
I've got one though.
Imagine a different one.
Imagine one for me, please, because this
Imagine
is
a stein
not
for
the
Dagmar.
underground adventure I was hoping for.
I need someone else to do this. I need to watch. Do it.
Okay,
Imagine.
so
I just
Morzod,
wanted to wander around in a tunnel.
Take me on a
Like
journey
a
through
nice one.
on a magical journey through the mind of Morzor right now.
he's not really sure what's being asked of him, but like concentrating really hard on a mental picture. He engages the Morzod brain. You can hear
Flexed.
the grinding as he like puts all of his mental effort into thinking about
Like
a
the
stein that-
Jeopardy music.
possibly. He's definitely thinking really, really hard. How hard that is measurable against like Aussie or something, I'm not sure. But he is thinking with all his Morzod might about a stein for Dagmar. It's got iron banding, and it looks a little bit like a cask, but it's a really small one.
Okay,
she'd probably need both hands, and he's
We'll make this, I think, wisdom or intelligence.
wisdom.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know how it works. He's just trying to make it work. Where the heck is my cursor? This is the problem with having 3 screens. I need something that tells me that it's on the left screen. Pull it back this way. All right.
I think there are apps for that. There must be.
Yeah, my ex used to have a little pair of eyeballs that were always pointing at the mouse. It was interesting. So wisdom. Oh, I just roll it straight from the thing.
Wisdom check.
Yeah. It's a total of 19.
19.
That's really good.
Yeah, you picture this stein with what you think is great clarity. You know exactly what it looks like, what it feels like, what it weighs like, what it smells like. And you open your eyes and nothing has changed.
I don't know what I expected, but I promise I thought real hard about it. We'll have to get you one of them when we're out of here.
Yeah, I
Really
would like
nice for a porter or something, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that thinking hard about it is gonna do anything unless you can
Thinking
think harder than
hard.
me.
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm entirely wrong. I just don't know how I'm right yet.
Shall we keep following the river then?
Well, my problem is when I sent Glow down that tunnel to check anything, it got to a point where she couldn't see any further.
Was that like the wall of dark? Like, was the wall of darkness like the one where I couldn't see Dagmar before,
No.
or is it different? Okay, cool.
From
it's ominous
Glow's
darkness.
perspective, it was 120 feet out. It's dark because she can't see further than that, and then as she went further out, it just got closer and closer. Like, it's still dark, and there's still nothing to see past there.
I mean, magical darkness does exist. It could have just been a wall of magical darkness. I don't know, and I'm not sending my owl through there. She's perturbed enough as she is.
I mean, we could walk the lights down there and see if it makes any difference.
We could.
That was to the left, yeah, so that would be over the river? Was it over the river or?
Oh, it was to the right.
To the right.
I assumed it was the one closest to you.
Right,
I'm
yes,
so
yes.
confused about the directions in this place, which is fitting.
Right, shall we... There could be oozes down there, I don't know. Should we be
Could be
carefully...
oozes bloody anywhere. I just wrote it with my pen again.
Okay, sore spot, I'm sorry. Should we carefully walk down the tunnel to check together? We should not separate.
I feel like that would be a bad idea to be going
You
off
think
with.
it's a bad idea that we go down that tunnel?
No, I
to
think
be
it's a bad
separated.
idea to split up.
Yes, absolutely, we're not doing that.
Mm.
Alright, should we... We're all just gonna walk down the tunnel as far as the glow god.
Okay.
Okay, who's going first? As same munching order as before.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dagmar, Orsi, Viterix, and Morzod.
Dagmar, do you
Kind of
have...
the official walking order.
And Dagmar, do you have dark vision?
Yeah, 60 feet.
Cool. And you have the goggles.
Yeah.
And as you walk a short distance down and you turn a corner and turn another corner as the tunnel, weaves around a bit, you, first of all, it's starting to feel cold. Like you didn't realize how much warmth the river itself seemed to be generating until you've moved away from it. And your movements are starting to feel a bit sluggish, as though you're having trouble. It's like walking through treacle almost, like something is pushing back, but you're not feeling anything. It's just hard to move forward. And with a combination of your dark vision and the goggles, you see the tunnel continuing ahead and then stopping. And when I say stopping, I mean it's like there's just a hard edge where the tunnel ends, and beyond it, you can't
Well,
really
hasn't
see
loaded
it.
in yet.
Just darkness. You can't see past it.
The
I take my theory back.
magical blocky thing is ahead. Anyone else feel weird?
No, it's
Yeah.
really gross.
Yeah, this is weird. This is
Can
definitely weird.
Orsi pick up the best scientific test of all is to throw a rock at it. He's going to chuck a rock at it.
Okay. Sure, yeah, you throw a rock down. Would Orsi actually be able to see what happens to it?
He's got dark vision 60 foot too, so I guess
Okay.
he's standing next to it, yeah.
So those with dark vision see the rock fly down, and then basically as soon as it hits that edge, it just blinks out of existence.
I've revised my theory. It feels like this is just a big slice of something that came off during the calamity, and that's a pocket to something else.
Is that a thing?
The calamity?
No, I mean bits of.
Pockets of other dimensions intersecting our own world, of course.
Right.
Is that where does it go?
What?
Where does that go then? So that's
I
like
don't-
a doorway?
I don't
Maybe?
know. I'm not touching it. The rock went through.
Well, the rock went in.
The rock went in. Good point.
Do we have any string? I've got a rope.
We all have this discussion every single episode.
I'm going to take my rope
Do we have
out,
rope?
and I'm going to sort of chuck it through the black
Okay.
thing while keeping hold of it.
Okay, so this behaves differently. So the rock that Orsi threw continued, it moved as a rock would, as you expected it, until it hit that darkness and then just disappeared. The rope flies out, but immediately starts to slow down as if, again, you're throwing it into something thick and heavy that's impeding its progress. And it just flumps down onto the rock of the tunnel. It doesn't even make it quite to the end.
All right, tie it to a rock. Is this organic fiber versus inorganic material? What is this? Tie it to a rock and throw it again. Do it, Dagmar.
Okay.
We don't have inorganic materials.
I was going to say,
in
like,
this
I'm pretty
day
sure
and
this is
Yeah,
this
I
is a solid hemp
don't
rope.
think that's nylon.
There's metal.
That's true.
I'm going to tie it around. What have I got in my pockets?
Oh no.
I
What's in
have.
its pockets?
What's
I
in
have a
its pockets?
crowbar in my pack, just
Sure.
casually.
Of
I mean,
course.
you're a dwarf.
I'm going to tie the rope around the crowbar and then give that a toss.
Okay, give me just give me a straight up strength check, please. Because I assume you're trying to throw this as far as possible with as much force as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want it to go through the thing.
Cool.
8.
Now, so
I mean, you're
you don't
struggling
get
to
as
move
much
'cause it
force
feels all
into it as you
treacly.
hoped, and it flies a bit, and then again sort of slows down as if it meets resistance, and then here's the confusing thing: it doesn't clang down onto the floor; it drifts down and stops.
Like it's underwater? Like that kind of vibe?
That's not exactly like that, but that is the kind of thing where it is.
Or just the air is so thick. Can we still breathe okay? We're okay, right?
You can, yeah, at the moment, yeah.
Okay. This is really weird.
At the moment,
I don't
he
have the
says.
answers. No, don't say that.
Oh no,
Alright,
I heard that. I heard the DM in that.
I would like to take
Zergus,
a
can't you
moment to
send a hand or
say-
something?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I'll whistle one of these god awful styleless
Generic,
mannequin hands into
yeah.
position. Just
Yep.
Alrighty, off we go.
Okay,
I will
boring
push
hand
the hand.
appears, moves down, and you see it moving away, and then it stops, turns around, and does this,
Oh,
and then blinks out of existence.
did your spell just
No.
tell you to go shove it?
How interesting.
Do they do that? Is that a thing?
Not
Well,
for a
but-
long time.
But that wasn't even a shade, was it? That wasn't a shade. What kind of
No,
magic
this is
was
the
that?
problem. I
hate
think I've got to
this.
drink the river water.
What?
Excuse me.
Well, the river's the thing, right? Like, we're all here because of the river. We've got to engage
No.
with it in some way, shape,
We
or
are
form.
not here because of the river. We are here to find missing people.
Well,
Is
yes,
this
but the
your
river's keeping us here.
ex-girlfriend doing a thing? Did we get kidnapped again?
Doesn't feel Engadoni.
This doesn't feel... Well, I mean, I've read it. I don't even know if this is a river of dreams. I don't even know if it exists. Says
I'll
me.
add that Engadon's necrotic water had a very distinct smell of... Yeah, it smelled absolutely foul, which this does not. In fact, you're not smelling anything except for each other down here.
Oh my god, we've got the covers.
Hey, Morzor, do you have any, like, distance spells? You got, like, a fire bolt or something? You want to chuck at that thing and see what happens?
It into there,
Yeah.
but I don't have anything to point it at.
What do you mean?
I mean, when I'm doing the guiding thing, I know what I'm pointing it at.
No, not a guiding bolt. I mean, do you have like a really low level, like a cantrip or anything that is distance based? Or terrors?
Oh, can I tie the rope to an arrow and fire it?
Oh, that's a great idea, Dagmar.
Sure.
Try it.
I seem to remember that you'd set the bow to fire arrows. Are you going to undo that? Or are you going to burn the rope as you shoot it?
Dagmar, I think you should maybe take the fire enchantment off.
I know, but if I send it away, I can't have it back.
The arrow?
No, the magic.
Doesn't make any... What do you mean? Well, we still have our magic.
No, mine. I can't. My fire thing, I can only set it to one element per day.
Oh,
So if I set it back to non-element, then I've just got a normal bow down
just
here.
choose... I think you just choose something that's not gonna burn the rope.
Yeah, I know. I can only set it back to non-magic, so it's just going to go back to being a normal bow.
Oh, it
That's
just
the rule.
ticks back and forth. Well, maybe if you... Does just the tip of the arrow light up, or does the whole arrow light up?
The
I think
arrow
it's the whole arrow.
essentially turns into a bolt of fire.
Into a flaming bolt.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it's
aren't
cool
we in a pickle?
It's fine.
It's not fine. I don't know what it is, and I want the answer.
I was saying it's fine. I will turn off the fireball. Just going to
Well,
be
you
sad
said it.
about it. I'm going to say strike true, and I'm going to fire an arrow at it and really hope that it doesn't turn around and smack me.
Okay, just give me an attack roll for the arrow.
Fire the arrow at the darkness.
25.
25. Basically, that
She
was
really
that was
hits
just
the darkness.
don't roll low. So you shoot the arrow out, and with much more force than you're able to put into the crowbar that you threw, and the arrow flies. Again, there's a moment where it starts to slow down, and then it briefly goes past the end of the tunnel that you see, and then moments later, it's as though it passes through. It's hard to describe. It's like passing through a portal or something like that. The front of it just disappears until there is no arrow, and the rope going behind it also disappears, and then it loses all momentum and it pulls back, and the rope is now a perfectly severed end, and the arrow is gone.
I don't think we should go down there.
That's a no doorway. Okay, we're not going to touch it. I want to touch it really badly.
Please don't touch it.
Me too.
What is wrong with you two?
Science
think
is what's
it's-
wrong
We
with
learned
me.
I think it's all them books.
Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Science.
Think
Science
of the
is
stories.
Should I get you to roll to see whether you can resist
Sure.
the urge to walk down? Okay, just
Sure.
make it a wisdom saving throw.
Vitericus as well. He seems into it.
Yeah.
Saving throw.
16.
I think if you're just leaving me in
16!
Warzod.
Hey,
Can I roll to grab backs of shirts if they do start moving towards
Well,
it?
I'm actually going to say to both of you, look, what does a success in this mean? Does that mean that you indulge in your desire to see what's down there, or does that mean that you decide it's better not to?
I feel like succeeding the wisdom check means not going down there.
I'm not going
Because
to tell
it's
stories about my friend who walked
kind of
down a doorway and
Silly
in
idea
half.
to step off the clipping distance.
The epic
think-
tale of
I think
Vitericus,
what
the
I'm-
Severed.
What I'm saying is that because you effectively succeeded, you can choose what your character is going to do, and
Okay.
you know, your character has free will essentially.
Rather
I
than
think-
narrative.
Yeah, so I think with Dagmar sort of complaining about the fact that the story of Vitericus the Severed is not a super interesting story, Vitericus will be like, I guess you're right. All right, back to the river then?
Yeah, look, let's
Fine, if we
throw
don't
you
get
in
to-
that.
If we don't get to touch the nightmare door, let's have you drink river water and see what happens.
What is
Perfect.
wrong
Let's go.
with you two?
This is discovery. This is what I live for.
This is something.
Sounds like it's what you're gonna die horribly for.
Well,
And-
not him. It's my job, apparently.
Maybe this is how they don't end up with too many wizards.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous line of work. All right, back to the river.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, we have another tunnel to check as well. I didn't have to go down that one. I wonder if the same thing happens in that tunnel as well.
Yeah, let's give it a look.
Yeah, let's go down the other tunnel first. Yeah.
Okay, it is much the same experience. You walk
Mhm.
down for a short distance, you start to feel cold, and you start to see the tunnel just come to an abrupt end. And it starts
Maybe
to feel...
like
this
it's-
is-
It's sort
maybe
of
this is-
finishing.
Yeah. Maybe we're all in something else's dream, and it's not dreaming about these parts yet. That's weird,
Thank
right?
you, David Lynch.
I'm sorry. I was thinking of the windfish from Zelda, but sure.
Yeah, I was thinking of windfish as well. Yeah.
Wait,
Are
so
we
you're saying
in-
someone has just dreamed about us standing at a pool of inky blackness for hours throwing shit at it?
You haven't
Yes.
had those dreams?
I mean, dreams are
I-
weird, I get that, but like, my teeth
I
haven't
mean-
fallen out yet.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
it's like-
true. My mouth hasn't become an unholy popcorn machine.
Yeah.
I
I'm not
mean-
currently swimming in a mountain of gold, so
And we stopped. I don't want to hear about your dreams right now. Remember when we were soul blended? We shared each other's dreams. Dreams are a realm of their own. I don't know anything about them. Maybe we are in a dream of a god right now, a titan's dream.
There's Mina's
super
dream?
boring
I
dream.
feel like if
That's
someone was
Mina's
dreaming about
dream.
me, they'd give me, I'd be bigger.
I mean, River of Dreams, Desmina's asleep. Apparently gods and heroes came to the river to do something. Maybe drink it, maybe they just waded into it. I didn't read that far because I thought it was a fairy story, but apparently it's not.
Oh, well, let's
So-
go
Well, what
drink
else-
it, I guess.
What else could it be?
I don't know of many other
Know any
talking
other
rainbow
things?
rivers. No.
Yeah, no, I don't
Well,
remember any stories like that.
this is
All
how
right,
science
I think-
gets done.
As we head back, I'm going to resummon my mage hand,
Mhm.
and we'll get vanilla hand back. And I'm just going
Ice,
to go,
ice,
all right,
baby.
which way are we going?
Did you want to dip a toe into the river and see what happens, or do you want to just keep following it?
Is he
I
asking
will in a
the
bit. I'm
hand?
asking the hand.
Oh,
Given that the hand was like, you didn't say the magic word.
Okay.
excuse me.
Um,
The hand is now back to acting in the way you would expect a mage hand to act.
It's only a brief sentient.
Matericus, in all my years as a wizard, I've never seen magic disobey its owner quite so literally.
You're not handy at all. And I'm going to hit it with a vicious mockery to dispel it.
Okay, it works.
Yep.
Completely
It
unnecessary.
goes.
I assume Aussie has a cup of some sort. Can he just
I mean,
like,
he's got to protect his jewels somehow, right?
yeah? Can he just like, not touching the river? I mean, he's got gloves on. Can he just like see if any of the water? Does the water still glow when it's away from the main source?
It does, yeah. Yeah, so you if you do it carefully, you are able to scoop some water up into the cup.
It's still glowing in rainbow.
And it's still behaving like water, yeah. It is glowing rainbowish, but otherwise it is behaving like water.
If he
Does
puts
it have
his
little
ear-
voices in it? Because it's
Yeah,
a small
yeah.
piece of the river?
Does he hear baby like little tiny voices?
Yeah, you do. Not they're no different to the voices you heard before, just a little less cacophonous, like there are fewer of them.
Do you all remember when we first met Rala again? You weren't there, actually. Never mind.
What?
Rala said to me that Gemden unliked her because she was reckless.
Are you
What's-
implying that someone should do something stupid?
Aussie gonna take a sip.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, we're doing that.
Horsey, please
Yes.
give me a wisdom saving throw.
Sure.
Jesus.
Hey, someone has to do it.
Why is it the one with all the spells?
15. Hey, that's good.
Okay.
Depends on how high the save is.
Maybe the save is like 32.
Yeah.
What you
The
all
yogurt
see,
is frozen.
what you all see is Horsey take a sip and then disappear in a way that he seems to just turn into a beam of light that goes into the river and then just flies off down it. And
What?
the cup travels with you.
Oh.
The cup also disappears. We'll
Oh,
get
God.
back to you, Orsi. What do the rest of you do?
Did you see that?
I'm frantically gonna be scratching my button chops right now.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't see him. He went that way.
Well, I'm not going to have it be said that Orsi Lichtenbraun got there before Vitaricus, so I am going to pull up the hood on my manta cloak and jump in.
Wisdom save from Vitaricus, please.
Let's go.
God.
Oh no, that's a 7.
Yeah. You all see the same thing, basically. Vitaricus jumps into this river, and even as his feet just touch it, it just is swept away as a mote of light following the river.
I am going
Believe.
to look at Morzod. You ever
I've
wonder
come-
what would have happened if we'd just stayed at the old place?
Listen, usually when someone's doing stupid with liquids, it's me, and I'm really not liking any of this.
Should we? I guess
Well,
we should.
there's nothing
Follow?
here.
Okay.
There's nothing here.
Want to do it at the same time?
Yeah, look, I'll hang on to you.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's
Yep.
both
Yep.
scoop up.
Okay.
Just sort of.
Wisdom
Yeah, do we want to
saves.
drink it or just jump in it?
Wisdom saves
yeah, we-
from each of you, please.
Yeah, let's jump in together.
Jumping in. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay.
wisdom saving throw.
Oh god, I'm in negative.
21.
12.
Okay. Dagmar is swept away. Morzod, you feel the river tugging at you. It wants to send you somewhere, but you don't have to go.
That's weird. That's weird. Are
You
you
can-
just going to tell me where I'm going, huh?
No, you only have seconds to decide. Do you stay or do you go?
Mozart kind of just exasperated sigh and then sort of like, yeah, all right, let's go.
Okay. And with that, we are going to take a short break to see where our heroes end up. So we will be back in a moment. See you soon. And we are back from our break. Our heroes they've been exploring a strange underground river that may not necessarily be on the material plane, that is made of, I don't know, dreams. It glows brightly. And, well, of course, they decided to drink it to see what happened. Each was whisked away. So I am going to paint a picture and I will insert our heroes into it momentarily. It's a large cavernous space. Think of like when you have those enormous caves like in Vietnam, where you've then got an opening and a sort of a forest has appeared down below with light beaming in from above. But at the center of this space, it ends in a lake of a very familiar glowing water. In the middle of this lake, there is an island. The water in the lake is pouring down from a waterfall. That's a tunnel in the wall. And coming down from the tunnel, there are these two paths. One is steps that are quite large. The other is more like a ramp. And they snake their way down. They have the appearance of architecture and that they look deliberate, but they're not made of stone blocks. It looks as though the cave itself has been formed into these for somebody's convenience. The island has a number of trees and grass, and it looks like quite a pleasant place. If you look carefully at the far end, you might see like a log cabin. On this side of the island, there is a large clearing, and you might hear a bit of bird song. You can hear the water flowing. The bird song, if you can hear the birds, you might not necessarily be able to see any birds as the camera sweeps over this majestic and beautiful place. And then it lowers down into this clearing, and then vroom, 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 our four heroes tumble out. all looking as though they've been through something. And I might actually get each of you to talk about, first of all, do you look any different after what's happened to you? So we'll start with Orsi, because I know April's put some thought into this.
Yes, he does. His usual elven braid is completely gone, and he has totally, it's not dwarven, it's not human, it's not elven, it's not orcish. A braid that none of you have ever seen his hairstyle in before, and it's decorated with little pieces of jewelry that I think especially Dagmar would be like, what the hell are those? There's nothing like anyone's ever made before. He's pretty beat up. He's got really strange, like, burn marks on his robes. He's probably a little bit tanner as well. His skin's a little bit darker, maybe a little bit freckled. Yeah, other than that, he's mostly the same.
You just gave me an idea that I messaged you.
Oh, yes, exactly, yes. Good. I think I could say that, right?
Yep,
or is that too much?
No, go ahead, yeah.
Like Aloy's hair in Horizon Zero Dawn is what it looks like.
Cute.
With, like, really similar decorations in it.
Kindwin, what is... does Dagmar look any different?
Dagmar looks generally the same, except that she's obviously been wearing her clothes for quite a while. The braid that her hair would have been is all like sort of loose and tufty. She's a little bit thinner than she was when she left. Her eyes are her cheeks are hollow, her eyes are a little bit sort of sunken, and she is basically checking her body and her surroundings, and she looks very fucking freaked out.
Doug, please tell us about Vitericus.
Yes. So Vitericus is completely unkempt relative to normal. The beard is coming in. The moustache is too long. The hair has grown out, and the bear fat is gone. He's wearing more tribal gear than you would normally expect. Lots of like animal leathers that have been roughly stitched together by like massive stitches. And he lands quite hard in this clearing. And is immediately back up on his feet looking for someone. And not you guys.
And Zindi, please describe Morzod for us.
Morzod is hale and healthy. He is glowing. He is fit. He's got, great colour in his cheeks. He's if you sort of wade up between the Morzod that jumped in the river and the Morzod right now, probably the first thing you'd notice is his hair is really long. It's neatly braided back and everything, but it's clearly like grown out, as it were. And yeah, he's got like this really long braid going on. His clothes look they're very neat and tidy. In fact, they look really well made. In fact, you might not have even seen something that looks like stitched that neatly before. Certainly not on Morzod. But anyway, he looks great. He does sort of stumble a bit when he hits the ground, and he's immediately looking around himself as well. Obviously something was there and is not now. And he looks a bit confused, but like he's not worried. He's just sort of
shiny new chainmail also on Morzod.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So you all know, where you've been, and you all, boom, appear simultaneously in the spot, looking at each other. Go.
No, Cassius, where's Cassius?
Is that?
It worked!
Orsi?
You're back! We're back! I'm back!
Ready?
Orsi's gonna hug whoever's closest to him.
Dagmar is going to
Can
go
we roll
in for the
for? Can
hug.
we roll for? Yeah, I was going to say, can we roll for who's closest to Ozzy?
No, Dagmar's going to go in for the hug, and she's going to slap him.
What? What did I do?
That was fucked.
What
happened to you guys?
What happened to you? What happened to your hair?
Great.
What? Oh, thanks. You guys, you look not. What happened? What the bloody hell happened? What do you all look like shit?
Frigging tiny planet. Where the hell did you go?
What?
Planet.
I went to a place where people are tiny. I went to a tiny place full of big moons, and it was very weird.
Are you
And
alright?
It was bad. No. I haven't eaten. Does anyone have food? I haven't eaten in like 7 days.
He's gonna give whatever rations he was given to her.
Dagmar is going to eat it like a possum.
Vitericus, you said someone's
pat down his
name.
pocket.
Yeah, Vitericus is like on his knees staring out over the lake and not really clicking back into gear yet.
He's gonna go over to him. Hey! It worked!
What? They're gone.
Yeah.
I'm never going to know. What? And he's just going to sort of 1,000-yard stare out over the river again.
He's gonna put his hand on his shoulder. It's alright. What?
I didn't think that was going to work.
I didn't think it was going to work either. What was that, Vitericus?
What were we doing again? Why are we here?
It was
We remember, right? What happened?
we were
Yes, you all remember
Yeah, okay.
everything that's happened to you after taking the drink and also what happened before. But of course, for some of you, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
So you have to realign yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
we was we was looking for someone. We was who was it?
Cave.
Well, I took a drink and then I was whisked down the river and
Right, that's it. We jumped in.
I don't know what happened to you guys afterwards, but it was incredible. There was a civilization within a civilization, a sun like ours with a world built around it, around the sun, orbiting it. It was insane. Neolithic people with art and music and shadow puppets, and I didn't understand them, and they didn't really speak so well, and they didn't have any written language yet, but I helped them plow their fields, and it was insane. And there were these huge constructs made of, I don't know, metal, but like metal like I've never seen it before. Like whatever Zoroaster is times 1,000, times 1,000,000. They were dangerous, and they would shoot these things at people who got too close, but there was like a ruin within the ruin, a civilization within their own civilization. It was ancient, but they were ancient. And I went in and they helped me, and there was a portal, and now I'm back here and I found you all again. I was worried I'd never see any of you again.
I'm
I've been-
super glad you had a fun time.
I'm sorry, Dagmar.
I mean, I was getting shot at by these giant metal things. That wasn't great.
Dagmar's just gonna keep eating. She's glad to see you all, but she is not fucking speaking to you two currently.
I mean, what is this stuff?
Very glad to see Mozart.
Or he's going to take a look at the big lake. Like, what is this? What is it? Was it real? Was it a dream?
Mozart's
And
gonna
at
plop
that
himself
point,
down next to Dags.
Orsi, as Orsi says, was it real? Was it a dream? A voice says, "Oh, it was quite. Excuse me. It was quite real. It was unexpected, but I imagine you've all learned something from it. The river never sends anyone to a place where there's nothing to be learned."
Who said that?
Yeah.
Dericus is back up on his feet and like beelining for the sound.
Yep. As you all look around, you see a figure walking casually, sauntering through the trees. They stand probably about 20 to 25 feet tall. Their features are definitely humanoid, but there's a certain... It's difficult to pick exactly what, species or race they would be, but to help you visualize it, imagine an individual who is a cross between elf, dwarf, orc, and human. And but
There was an Animorphs book about this.
They are
It was.
very casually dressed in sort of what you might think of as medieval workers' clothes, but they look like a fisherman with a straw hat, a smoking pipe, and they look like a very mundane person except for the size and the location. And he walks up and says to the four of you, "Oh, welcome back. So, how are your journeys?"
Are they okay?
What are you?
Oh, one question at a time. First of all, are they okay? I don't know who they are or whether they're okay. I'm sorry. I can see through windows. I can't see what happens beyond them. As to you, well, a number of names for me. In terms of, well, this language that we're speaking at the moment, I believe that there are maybe 3 names, or 2 names that are commonly used by your people. You're from, let me think, Valdra, yes?
Yes.
Yes, I thought so. In fact, 2 of you are rather familiar. And he looks at Morzod and Vatericus and says, "In fact, you've been here before." No. You've been... Parts of you have been here before, but you wouldn't remember that, would you? No. Interesting. Well, I am sometimes called the Dream Fisher. I am sometimes called the Gatekeeper. I have discovered that these terms are a bit overblown and may cause some, let's say, disconnect between myself and yourself. So I've also asked, well, I give permission for people to call me Bob. So you may call me Bob if it makes you feel more comfortable.
Short for something or just Bob?
It's just Bob.
Just Bob.
Agmar is still eating. She's not even looking at him.
It seems to lighten the mood, or so I've been told, so that is my choice.
What? Where are we? Is this the River of Dreams? What is this?
Yes. The River of Dreams, that is one of its names. Welcome to the River of Dreams, which flows into, well, you could probably guess this is the Lake of Dreams, also known as the Nexus, also known as the Citadel of the Ways. Sids, I see that this is your first time here consciously. I guess I should explain. We are in a space that has no real name. The best way to describe it would be in between. This is the space in between all the planes of existence. When you move from the material plane to, for example, a celestial plane or the shadow fen, you go from one place to another place. Where we are here is the space in between all of those other places. The river here is, well, if I were to use the phrase space-time continuum, would that mean anything to any of you?
Morzod nods.
It says,
He doesn't say anything, but...
It says, well, imagine that we're in a place that existed before space-time existed and will continue to exist after space-time ends. The world you come from, all the worlds that are connected through this place, they will eventually die. Everything ends when there is time and space concerned. Nothing is eternal. But what is the point of all this stuff existing if it just disappears? If there's no record, if there's no memory of it? The river will outlast all of us. It has memories. It has dreams, desires, fears, wants. And it flows simultaneously through everywhere. every point of existence, every plane, every possible reality that exists is touched by this river. When you came into contact with the river, it took you somewhere where it felt you needed to go for one reason or another. And then it brought you back here, so you could continue on your journey. So, hi, I'm Bob.
Nice to meet you, Bob. Nice to meet you. It
Ah.
was. So
I
you're
have-
saying that was the river that we.
Yes, the river. I'm simply a custodian for it. The river
Right.
has a consciousness of its own that I won't pretend to fully understand. It makes choices that...
So you said this place was the in-between, correct?
Correct.
I've not
And
talked to
you know
before.
the land where we come from, correct?
Valdra, yes.
Valdor. And this land is also in between the different planes of Valdor, right?
Yes.
What happened?
Could you be more specific, please?
Our world is cut off from the celestial plane of our existence.
Ah, yes. Well, you see, there's a certain way I like to run things here. There are a great many things I know, a great many secrets that I know. I can't just, what's the phrase? Spill the beans? Are beans a problem in Valdra? It's the most peculiar phrase. But we can trade.
Trade what?
Dreams, memories, desires.
You got any food?
He immediately just generates out of the air a feast, the most lavish, incredible feast that you could possibly imagine, and it appears right in front of you.
Oh,
Right.
she's face first in that.
Mm.
She is not saying thank you.
And he says, so where we are now is technically, there should be nothing here. And when I say nothing, I do not mean the empty void of space. I mean an absence of even the material that is required to create a vacuum. We are nowhere. But the river exists nonetheless, and it grants me the power to create this, well, a simulation of existence. As indeed your bodies are simulations of the bodies as you last had them. And they will be restored to you as soon as you move on to the next plane of existence.
What?
Did we die? Did we die?
He laughs and says, no, you are in transition
I
from...
don't think I'd be dead. Don't think I was dead.
Felt kind of like I nearly died.
We
So
need to talk about you.
it seems you found a portal. It also seems you're not aware that you found a portal to another realm of existence. And when you stepped through, the river saw fit to bring you to me. It doesn't often do this, or it doesn't do it. Let me rephrase. It does this quite often from my perspective. But most individuals will not see the river. They'll simply pass by it or pass through it without a second's thought.
We came down here originally to find people who'd gone missing. One of them came back to our world with no memory of what happened.
That happens a lot when people walk through the ways.
The ways? Is that the caverns around the river, or...?
The portals from one existence to another. Some of them have a way of messing with the mind.
What was that dark, heavy, weird magic?
Oh, that was nothing.
Do you care to elaborate?
It
Capital
means it was nothing. Like,
It was
the things that are was stopping being are.
it was
So it was-
absolute. It was absolute nothingness. It was.
So the
If you, I watched you quietly as you tried to understand it, and I saw you slowing down, struggling to move, feeling cold. And it was not because anything was pushing back at you; it's because there was there was nothing to move through.
the concept of nothingness given physical form was that.
It's quite the opposite. Physical form cannot exist in nothing unless it is willed to exist by the river, and by extension through the powers given to me by the river. You are here, and you exist because I will it.
So we exist because you perceive us.
If you want to phrase it that way, it's one
I
way
was
to
right.
look at it.
I was right. I knew it.
Most individuals, as I've said, simply step through a portal and step out the other side. They don't see the river, they don't see me, they just carry on their merry way. But the river
So,
pays close attention to travellers of note.
right. So when you said you'd sort of seen Vatericus and Morzord before, what did you mean? Subconsciously
Yes,
they've been here.
I suspect that's why the river brought you here this time.
Me too. Explain yourself.
Vatericus, the soothsayer, you carry the mote of a being who came through here once before. At the same time that a being came through that you, Morzod, have in your veins, in your blood.
Morzod has thought of something, and he doesn't say anything, but you can definitely see that lightning has just struck his brain.
I think Vatericus has sat down for the food, but has gone through not quite a grace ritual, but basically a saying grace ritual. That's a little more, I guess, simpler. Well, it's not just words, right? Like there's an action to go with it. I haven't figured out exactly what yet. We'll get there. And has taken a little bit to eat and goes, yes, Daragandali sits somewhere inside me.
No.
No, Dasha Undrake.
Yeah,
Sorry, wrong
yeah.
one.
And
the
he
dwarf
says,
one. It's been a while.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
and he
he's
says-
mine. Sorry.
Yep, the dream fisher says, yes, you know their name. I wasn't sure if you did.
I do. Are there any shades here, by the way, that I've noticed?
None at all.
None here? Yeah, cool.
So
Yeah.
Morzord and Vatericus have had contact, like direct contact with beings we call gods, which means that whatever closed off their plane, they came through here to get to ours, right?
He says, well, I am sometimes called the gatekeeper. Who do you think closed that plane?
You said you'd tell us things if we traded dreams or desires.
Yes. I'll ask for, you might consider it a donation or a trade. It can be something of your choice. Understand that everyone present will be privy to it. But it can be a secret that you've never spoken aloud. A memory of a moment that transformed you forever. Your greatest regret, your greatest fear, or your deepest desire. But it must be personal. The river has little interest in politics or the machinations of great nations. It wants to know what people really care about.
But if we tell you those things, does that mean we won't have them anymore?
No. This is not theft. This is...
Staying with a tail.
how to explain it to a wizard. This is archiving information. This is making a record.
I see. So adding a book to the library. If
Yes.
Morzod has left the library. Morzod has been saved.
I mean, certain parts of yourselves automatically fall into the river as you move, and memories are always shared, but the deepest, most intense ones, they must be given, they can't just be taken.
What kind of question will we answer if we give you information?
Well, you wish to know about how the cataclysm occurred.
Yes.
I can show you something. Well, I'm sure the river can, at least. Don't worry, you won't be going on another journey.
Yeah. I don't want to do that again. What about the rest of you?
If I wanted to know if there's something, if it's real, if it exists, you'd be able to tell me.
Well, my knowledge is limited, as I've said. I see through the windows. I don't walk through them. But the river might be able to give you something that it thinks you need. Might not be what you want, though.
Mozart kind of squares his shoulders a bit, and he says, I want to know if it does exist, if there really is a king brew.
And he smiles and he says, it's beyond my knowledge, but we shall see. We can see what the river says. I warn you, you might not like the answer.
So I got to describe sort of what Mozart trades for it?
Yeah, what you can do is basically describe, this memory or this dream or this desire or a fear, and essentially it'll be like you'll suddenly move into a holodeck and you see it playing out in front of you.
The thing that I was thinking, I'm not sure how I'd manage that, how I'd describe it. Because it's more of a sort of emotion thing than a event thing.
Well, in that case, just explain it and we can think about how that appears.
All right. So, in my drawings of Mozart, there is one where you can see his bare ass. And he has a tattoo that says Layla. And the thing that sort of bothers him, and the problem with it, like, things don't usually bother Mozart overtly. Like he's pretty chill with anything that happens, but it's stuck with him all this time. Who's Layla? Is she a good thing? Is he like, what happened that he ended up with this tattoo? Obviously, he was completely fucking blind when it happened because he does not remember, and it's like sort of like regret, I guess, because he doesn't know whether it's okay to let that go or whether maybe he should be trying to find out, like, what is he missing out on if he never finds out.
So I think
kind of thing.
This will probably appear to you as the first time that Mozart waking up and is either told about the tattoo or just happens to see it when checking himself out in the mirror. And that confusion, and you can all feel that confusion and surprise. And
a surprising amount of concern.
Yeah. And at first it's just a bit of, curiosity, what's this about? But then you get these glimpses of day after day, after month, of this question recurring of...
Every now and then.
Yeah, who's Layla?
He's being pensive.
And you all have just a taste of that slight ache, that, concern of what am I missing? What have I missed? What have I forgotten?
Yeah, is it good that I've forgotten? Is it bad that I've forgotten? He just doesn't know. And for a simple man like him, having that little waver of doubt or curiosity, like sort of just with him forever, because it's tattooed on his butt, it bothers him.
And the dream fisher says, sometimes the river seeks the simplest of things. Thank you. The river accepts your donation.
Now you've all seen Mozart's butt.
I'm sure we've We've all been
Well, I
blessed
mean,
at
yes,
some
you
point.
probably have seen it before. Actually, were you just all too polite to bring it up, or
Yeah, yeah.
just like maybe we won't ask him about that?
Dagmar feels ever so slightly cheered.
I think Orsie's going to go sit down in between Vitericus and Dagmar if he can. If not, just near them. Wherever this feast is.
Yeah, and there's plenty of vegetarian and vegan food there.
Oh, wonderful. Finally, some
Nice.
nourishment.
There's a mountain of avocado.
Oh.
Yes.
he's gonna OD.
One of these rivers goes to the plain of avocados, and we're going to find it. We will be rich.
Would have been a terrible thing if you had it end up there, though, because you'd make the cultural mistake of trying to eat someone, and then it all goes downhill from there.
Please do not eat the emperor.
That's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened to us.
Mhm.
It was really rough. Well, I have a regret. If the river wants to hear it. When I was 8, my uncle and aunt came to the mansion, and they told me when I was just a little boy about a legend about a city in the sky.
As Orsi narrates this, you all see it with the same clarity that Orsi remembers it. So it's not a perfect recreation, but it has the detail that Orsi remembers and the detail that matters to Orsi.
And yeah, Vitericus would recognize the uncle.
Mhm.
So my uncle Neo and my aunt Va, they were both with the society. They were archaeologists. And they were just stopping back in Tal Raj to resupply, I suppose. I don't really remember. But I remember my uncle had me on his lap, and he was telling me about the city in the sky. This city with technology beyond all comprehension. They had no magic, but they had constructs that worked. Incredible transportation. Legends said that they tried to pierce the heavens themselves, and they were smoted by the gods. And the legend said that the gods put them on the top of a mountain surrounded by an endless thunderstorm for their hubris. My aunt said that it was like trying to catch lightning in a bottle, trying to get any information about this legendary city in the sky. Translations after translations after translations till it became a fairy tale. And me, being 8 and very stupid, I thought that if I caught lightning in a bottle, I could help them find the city in the sky. So, that night I went to the roof of our mansion, and he, picks up his little necklace that he's always wearing, and I took my little bottle, and I stood on the roof during the thunderstorm that was raging, and I tried to catch lightning in a bottle. And it worked. I did it. And yeah, he holds out his little necklace, and inside the little tiny bottle is electricity zapping around. I did. It worked, and it also didn't work. I caught the lightning, but I was also hit by it. I fell 7 stories to the ground. I would have died if it wasn't for a cleric of Gendanon who saved my life. But that same night, because of what I did, my dad and Uncle Va had an argument, and my aunt and my uncle left. They went to the Wandering Isles, and I never saw them again, and no one's ever heard of them again. And every single day, I blame myself for what happened, because if I hadn't have been so stupid, maybe they wouldn't have left, and maybe they wouldn't have died. And it's my fault. And I think he unwraps his left hand at that point, and it's just red. It's just scar tissue. It's horrific. There's no skin. It's just all scars. Goes all the way up the left side of me.
And Dreamfisher nods as your vision all returns to where you are sitting on this island, and he says, "Thank you. Such personal stories mean so much more in the long run than the rise and fall of nations."
Glad to hear.
Dagmar's gonna
Crying a little bit.
put a hand.
Yes, reassuring hand on the good shoulder.
Yeah.
He's gonna give Dagmar a little hug if she'll let him.
Yes, she will, because now she feels bad.
Oh.
I
Oh,
think he leaves his left glove off.
Oh.
oh.
So you can answer my question.
He says, yes. What of you two?
Ericus can go first.
Dasha and Drake is split, I think. I don't have all of her, right?
He
That is a question that I'll have to give you something for you to answer.
he says, I can't answer that, but
Yeah. So I guess my question is, what do I do with what is of her in me?
and he smiles and says, the river is not a soothsayer, and it does not give instruction, but it can show you the past, if you offer something.
Let us trade past for past, then. And Vitericus will tell the story of the last time he saw his mother. So it's in a quite a small, modest, or like not even modest, right? Like peasant squalor, basically, like outskirts of town. Dennis, there's some lovely filth down here style dirt farming to survive, right? And Vitericus's mother, whose face he doesn't quite remember anymore, and so it's in shadow and there's darkness and like one candle between them, basically. And so Vitericus begins to narrate, well, as you all know, I make a living out of getting things from people that they are then regretful that they have given me. That catches up with me occasionally, and the first time it caught up with me was here. And there's a 12-year-old Vitericus sort of in the house. I had recently just fleeced the king, well, not the king, but like the local mayor for all they were worth, redistributed much of it, and given the rest to my mother. Unfortunately, the town guard were onto me far too soon. And so my mother told me that I had to leave, which, you know, obviously the right call, act of love, all that jazz. And make my own life going forwards. And so off I went. The last thing I had to remember her by, and the scene sort of moves forwards a little bit to Vitericus's mother handing him a small shiv. And the this was her parting gift to me, was to ward off bandits or goblins or whatever was on the road on the way, and to give me what she had before the town guard confiscated it all. And so I hit the road and haven't stopped moving since. And so it'll sort of flash through a few sort of runs through Eskelgrir and, you know, elsewhere around Gold. But the main focus of the story is saying goodbye to his mum and receiving the shiv. And then a fast forward to losing the shiv to Engadon.
Oh.
And being like, and I would like it back one day. But that is a story I will write myself. I don't need to see that one.
He says, thank you for this slice of truth. Vitericus, the truthsayer. He looks expectantly at Dagmar.
I don't want anything from you,
He says,
but I guess if it'll help get these guys some answers, I could give you a memory or something.
he says, you don't need to. I'm happy to say that trade has been made.
Well, since we're all sharing, Dagmar will. Does she have to say it, or can she just sort of think it and everyone will see it?
She can think it
I mean,
and
I will
everyone.
describe
Yeah,
it, obviously.
yeah. So you can go into narrative mode and then just explain what everybody sees if you want to.
All right. Well, since everyone has been a bit vulnerable and Sherry, she's just going to share a very quick memory of sitting at one of her many siblings' weddings in this great dwarven hall. It's completely full of people, and she is sitting on her own. And that's it. And you just get a very big sense of loneliness.
And he says, it's a very common theme for those who come through here. Now, and as you, he actually holds up the palm of his hand, you can see that there are these 4 little tendrils sort of crawling around each other like tiny worms. He just flicks them and they fall into the river and are washed away with it, these little strings of light. And he says, let's see what she has for you. And a fishing rod just appears out of nowhere. And he flings it, swings it around, fly fishing, throws a strand in.
I was going to say fly fishing or the...
Yeah. Pulls it out, and there are these 4 new strings of light clinging to it. They haven't been hooked, they haven't been tricked, they've just latched onto it because they're the ones that need to come. He pulls it in, collects them in his palm. They just happily sort of glide down, and then he flings them towards each of you, towards your head. And so Orsi, you see 3 people talking. 2 of them are quite familiar to you. You see Niran and Va. Much as you remember them, you don't know where they are, though. This is a place far away. They are speaking to a 3rd person. I'll get you to make an intelligence check.
Oh. Intelligence check. 21.
You recognize this 3rd person, though he looks much healthier than he did last time. You last saw him in a sinkhole in Mercer's Pass.
No, not the Mad King of the Pit.
It was the Mad King of the Pit, with the jawbone on his head. But here he looks perfectly sane. He's wearing society robes that are not tattered and torn, and he is having a conversation with your aunt and uncle. And there's a lot of stuff that I won't go into detail in the conversation. It's a lot of sort of boring stuff, but the key points that you do take out of it is that they are going to Lake Keldrith. They think they've found what they're looking for. They want Norath to that's his name. They want him to follow as soon as he's acquired all of the items.
The items.
Yeah. Let me clarify. They want him. Yeah, they want him to come. They want him to send the items through to place the order. Send the items. The cloak is especially important, and more than one would be ideal if he can find them. And that he is to join. They would like him to join him when it's convenient for him.
A real sliding doors moment, huh?
I think it was. He's just like, I think he's already sitting down, but he's this 1,000-yard stare, thinking about what he's just lost because the Mad King is dead. Mad anyway.
Morzod, you see Bruin Lach in his Valdrin persona. He doesn't look as run down as you remember him. He looks a bit younger, a bit healthier, a bit fitter. He is in. It looks like it's some kind of drug den. You get the impression that he might have passed out, and he wakes up, and standing over him is a woman. Dark, very dark skin. She is tall, she is slender, she is wearing a golden gown. She looks incredible. And because with this memory comes the knowledge of who it is. Bruin Lark is being spoken to by the persona of Nesed Claythi, the goddess of beauty and dreams and desire. And they're arguing. A lot of the details are unclear to you. It's hard to remember because this is like taking somebody else's memories and putting them into your own brain. And brains aren't hard drives. They work, every brain works,
bloody organic systems.
Works a little differently. So it's like when you wake from a dream and you have to try and, consciously remember, wait, why were the elephants flying X-Wings? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But there's this vehement argument between them, and Nesed Claythi, it culminates in Nesed Claythi losing all composure and just screaming at Bruin Lark and saying, "You don't bring joy. All you do is numb the senses. You bring down everyone around you." And Bruin Lark holds up a cup, just a very simple, a wooden goblet, and says, "But it works." And she says, "It would be better for you if it didn't." And she just reaches down and takes it out of his hand, and he is too weak to fight back. And she turns, and the memory fades. Dagmar, you're in a very familiar dwarven stonehold, massive architecture all around you. It is your home, and it is not just the home, it is the throne room. And you see your parents, and they are speaking to a dwarf who you would have seen about the Stonehold as a child. This dwarf, he was the problem solver, so to speak. He was the one who would be sent out into the darkest caverns if a monstrous threat emerged. And a lot of this doesn't translate well to you. You have trouble interpreting this, but it quickly becomes clear that they are handing money over to him, and the last thing you remember is them saying to him, "Bring her back. We don't care how." And
God, my parents are assholes.
Vitericus, yours is especially hard to interpret. Your memory begins in a land even more alien than the one that the river sent you to. But there's just enough knowledge, just enough awareness of what's happening that you know that you are on a celestial plane. This is a home of the gods. And you are seeing the plane through the eyes of one Dasha Undreg in her pure godly form. She has not been splintered. She is not just a faint mote of what she was. You are in this place that is almost overwhelming for a mortal mind to perceive. It is so massive. And she, you look around this landscape, and as you look into what passes for a sky in the celestial plane, something breaks through, a whiteness that glows so brightly that it seems to be almost impossibly superimposed on the reality that you see around you. It would be like, it's like you're looking at a compositing mat in a way, like an alpha channel. It's just, you know, it is so white that it should not exist. And Dashol Drake feels absolute terror as this thing starts to break through, and these tendrils start to run, and all she can do is flee. And you have this feeling of just panic, of running or flying or swimming, but you are going away from that thing towards the only possible escape that you can think of, and you become aware of other gods fleeing, but they're ahead of you. They're going to get there first, but it's okay, it's okay. They wouldn't leave you behind. And then something grabs you and starts pulling you back, and you start screaming. A scream so powerful that the world itself around you, the plane, starts to shatter and crack. And then a part of you flies off. And the rest of you, well, you don't know what happens to the rest of you. The next thing you know, you wake in a place that doesn't look like you'd expect it to, but somehow you know that you are back in this exact place, the Citadel of the Ways, the Nexus, the Lake of Dreams. But it's not the four of you standing around the gatekeeper. It's a number of gods all standing around, pleading with the individual of the gatekeeper, say, please close the door behind us. But you, as Dasha and Drake, you are hovering above them, barely conscious, barely aware of anything that's happening. And the gatekeeper looks over, and it's as though he just opens a window in the air next to him and looks through, and this blinding white light. And you see just a hint of panic on his face. And he immediately slams it shut, turns to all of the gods and says, well, this is most improper, but I'll grant you passage and grant your request. Try not to make too much of a mess down there. And that is the last of that memory for Vitericus. And you all return to this little island in the Lake of Dreams.
Did we all see each other's or just our own?
I'm going to say that you all saw each other's. It's sort of the other side of seeing each other's, you know, memories. You also share in each other's revelations.
Oh.
That's real heavy, that is.
And the gatekeeper says to all of you, well, I hope what you saw was helpful. As I tried to warn you, it's not always what you want to see, but it is what the river thinks you need to know.
What if we have more questions?
I'm afraid we try not to interfere too greatly in material, in things that happen in material plane. A little prod here, a little bit of information there, but
I'll be giving it all away, huh?
yeah, I don't like to steer the course of civilizations or even individuals. So, in short, I believe the river has told you all it's prepared to tell you, at this point, anyway. Who knows, I might see you again. Who knows, you might already be here, waiting to pass through. Time, well, I have to simulate the passage of time while you're here, you understand. So it's very hard for me to explain multiple journeys to this place, but it is possible.
How do we get back?
Just keep following the river. It'll take you to wherever you were headed to before you found the river. And
quick question for the DM.
Yeah.
Sorry, did I lock eyes with Engadon? Or sorry, did Dasha lock eyes with Engadon
Engadon was
at any
there,
point in the
yes.
thing? Yeah, okay, cool.
And Dasha would have felt a moment of guilt on seeing Engadon. But again, Dasha was only vaguely aware of what was happening there. It was like she was listening through a coma almost.
Cool. Apologies. Carry on.
Yeah. And yeah, the gatekeeper says, and by the way, this way that you found, this passage, I see no reason to prevent you from travelling forward, which is one of my jobs, to prevent planar incursions. There have been some rather large-scale invasions throughout the history of existence. I don't believe the four of you constitute a major threat to the place you're going to. When you return, if you choose to return through this way, there's a good chance the river won't choose to bring you back here again. You'll just return normally where you came from. But don't think this makes you any less special.
Just on that, if we are stuck here again, if we just walk beside the river, we'll come out fine. Is that...
I'd advise that. The
I'm
options...
gonna look real pointedly at Orsi at this moment.
And
he's gonna not make eye contact.
He does add, I do like to see how people respond. I learn a lot about them before they get here by the path that they take and the choices that they make.
And then there's these guys.
He said, it is very rare for a group of individuals to all drink the water at once. That is uncommon. He summons a teacup and sips from it.
I was just cute.
Is there a priest around here?
A priest? I mean, Morzord, technically, I suppose.
No, didn't we come down here looking for a priest?
Oh, yes, that's what I was going to ask. The two other individuals we were searching for.
He says,
are they okay?
I mustn't be specific, but you are not the first to pass this way recently, through this very specific portal.
Well, hopefully they followed the river, made it out.
Well,
yeah.
I can say that the river did not choose to bring them to my attention.
Right. So maybe they're back. Maybe they're back in Providence.
You think the lad really don't remember? Or do you think maybe he just sort of...
he just saw a lot and sort short-circuited.
Seems understandable.
He says, so I won't keep you any longer. Your destination is that way. And he points where the lake flows back into a river and continues on into a tunnel.
Ah, the bloody Billabong of dreams, gotcha.
Dagmar will be taking a giant turkey leg.
Is there
or
like
if there's anything
pathway?
larger.
What did you say? Is there a pathway? Did you say?
Yeah, is there a path to follow, or are we jumping back in?
There is a path
No,
to follow.
we're not jumping back in.
Let's go back again.
Round 2.
Well, thank you.
He says, I'm sorry, it seems that your journeys have not been a positive experience for all of you. I can only say it was not my fault, it was not my choice. And the river, well, the river dictates, and I obey.
Also kind of chuckles a bit. You're alright, Bob.
Dagmar will grudgingly salute him with the turkey leg, and that's it.
Is there like a flower or anything, like a little plant?
Sure,
or-
yeah.
Can Aussie pick a flower?
Yeah.
Can I pick a flower?
Yeah, and he says, I should warn you, you cannot take it with you.
Well, that's what I was going to
Yeah.
test.
He glances over to
rude.
Dagmar and says, I hope you've eaten your fill, because anything you carry externally will not exist once you
Sure,
leave.
she's already eating it.
He says, that is wise.
Also kind of shaking his head a little bit, kind of looking at all the. I'm imagining the face from Hook. We all, we all
Yes.
imagine that one? Yep,
The
okay.
Gross colors and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Mozart's just kind of shaking his head a little bit, saying, I've not seen things like this in. Oh, that's something else.
Aussie's gonna put his hand on Dagmar's back and just be like, "Let's go now. Come on."
She will allow herself to be steered.
Mm-hmm.
The
Okay.
Durgus will very earnestly farewell Bob with a, maybe not a bow, but a very obvious farewell, and then because Bob's 25 foot tall,
Hmm.
and then head off.
Okay. You all, I assume, continue to follow the river. As you do, a point comes where the river's not there anymore. You don't exactly remember leaving the river, but that sense of reverence in a special place has suddenly gone. And
Feels
you
normal
find yourself somewhere else. You're in a cave, but it's not the same kind of sandstone that you are moving through under Providence. There's a bit of light down the end. Actually, Dagmar will know this automatically. This is some kind of crystal that you're in.
Nice.
It's
Pretty.
Like we're in a giant geode.
It's a light whitish greyish color. It's quartz-like essentially, and you are in this rather uneven passage that leads through, and you can see, well, not daylight exactly, but you can see a soft glow beyond. Yeah, so you're going to move forward?
Yes.
Yeah. It's-
Dagmar, what kind of place would have crystal like this?
It doesn't look like we're under. Dagmar is trying to remember 7 days ago when she saw sandstone. So yeah, she's gonna think for a bit. It's like, I have no idea right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So you move through and you come out through this into an opening, and you can see it's different and strange. It's like you are standing on the side of a hill of crystal, of just these massive pieces of quartz-like crystal that have just thrust out of the ground like a crystalline eruption. These things just and it's large, this structure that you're sort of halfway up on. It's hundreds of meters across. Around it there is a forest of very tall trees. They are like 100 meters tall or more. Variety of different species, but they are all kind of twisty and gnarly. But it looks like the ones at the edge have actually been knocked away, as though these crystals have erupted out into a forest and just cleared the trees away. The sky is a gentle sunset, like the sun is just on the edge of the horizon, and it's this gorgeous, these gorgeous colors of purple and orange and red, and the light is rather. It's a fairly dim light. I'm not going to say it restricts your vision, but it's very easy on the eyes. I'll get perception checks from all of you, please.
Ready. Get Percepti.
Hey, there's my crit of the day, 24.
Cool.
18.
14.
Little 12.
Okay. Vitericus, you see these trees start to grow larger in the distance, and you suddenly realize that you've got an odd sense of scale here. And it's not that you're particularly small, it's just that these trees have somehow magically grown to a very large size, especially the one that's up there that is several hundred meters tall. That is just like a massive skyscraper.
Not probably giant blue space cats, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay, good.
Not quite that large either, but
Right.
it is that sense of an enormous tree that towers over you. It visually, you can think, do you know what rainbow eucalypts, rainbow gums look like?
Yeah.
The bark is like that of this thing. There's this
Pretty.
gorgeous multicolored trunk, but it's very, gnarly with branches going off in all directions. And Orsi, you don't notice that because you're distracted by glow. Glow, well, it's still distinctly glow in that the eyes are definitely glows, but can you imagine what a dragon owl could look like?
Oh my god.
So it's a bit, she's a bit larger than she was. She's not dragon-sized, but she's more the size of like a small dog. She now has, you know how sort of greater horned owls and so forth have these ear-like feathers.
Yeah.
She's got those, but they're sleeked back, almost like a dragon's horns. Her neck's a bit longer than usual. She has a long curling tail with sort of a plume of feathers sticking out there. It looks like a prehensile tail, almost like a dragon's.
I feel April's fingers itching from here.
I want to draw
and,
so bad.
And her colours are in sort of gold and orange, and she's more brightly coloured than a burrowing owl. And she no longer has the damage to the feathers on her left wing that you're used to seeing. And I'm not going to make Orsi roll for this. I think Orsi immediately realises that you've stepped through a portal into the Feywild. And that's where we're going to leave this episode.
Alrighty.
Thank you, everyone, for watching this madness. We will be back next week to see what awaits our heroes in this land of extremes and magic. Bye.